Hello, Serge here from the Backyard Driving Range. Okay, we have a letter that came in from John, and basically he starts off by this, and he says he sent me it's from John Boobles, and he says, "Hi Serge, do you agree with this guy?" And he sent me a video, and I looked at it. So naturally I can't put the video here, but he wrote this his answer to it, and he wants to see if I agree with what he saw, and therefore, you know, what this was being taught as a golf instruction daily video for another rotational teacher. The process and he gives the gentleman's name, I won't say who he is, describes in the transition starting from the ground up the feet and then the slide into the stick is correct. So what he's got is this teacher had a stick stuck in the ground right here, and he started making a turn. He's talking about he slides into the stick with his hips. Sound familiar? All right. So he's questioning whether this teacher is still is classified a rotational swinger, and what's going on. You're going to see what he says. His swing theory is explaining is rotational. Although he states that the initial shift or slide is left, which is correct, then watch how he goes rotational with the hips turning away too much and the left leg straightens. All right, so even if he might have a little bit of shift, he then turns really very big with his key and straightens up his left leg. All right, which we won't really ever straighten up. It stays flexed through impact, and even when we come up, it never gets to being straight. The weight rolls to the outside edge. You always have a little bit of flexation in it. That slide and that knee stand flex is what keeps us behind the ball as compared to rotational. Once you turn that hip too much, because the whole body's connected, it pulls us past the ball. All right. Again, he says, then watch how he goes rotational with the hips turning way too much to the left and the left leg straightens. Then look at how far left his chest, shoulders, and arms finish with his arms collapsing and being pulled down wide left and below his shoulders. Because again, once you get your arms too far over here, they can't stay up over your shoulders because all the muscles and tendons and ligaments from your neck, your shoulders, and down into your back, once your arms go around here, they pull you this way and actually makes you susceptible to pulling, you know, falling backwards that way, or having a fight falling backwards that way. But ultimately what it really does is all that rotation all the way over here, where's it putting all the torque? Right here. In today's rotational swing, golfers get more torque going into the finish than they do to take the backswing. Why? Because the backswing is a, so to speak, coiling up. It's a very controlled and not so stressful backswing as compared to now. Once I make my bump, as we call it, or lateral left shift, as he's starting to call it, but he goes rotational too fast. You know, he might do this, but then as soon as he turns it hard, and that leg starts to straighten, this going back that way, his left going that way, is pulling his right side that way, and then everything goes over here, and now you're going through at the speed of accelerating to and through impact all the way up to the finish to hit the ball with force and power. And that torque is coming all the way over here to maximum extension, way beyond what most people can handle, and that's where you start getting the tension, stress, and strain, which eventually leads to pain. This is classic rotational swing theory, watered down. Sounds less turn and successful on the body, but still rotational. And yes, John, I agree with you. It's absolutely so. And good observation. And that's why many times I've received emails like this, and at golf schools I've had people talk to me, and even in private lessons. And the more you listen to these videos and stay with peak performance, and the better you start hitting the ball and playing, which is why most of you stay here. In many cases, many of you who came here and found peak performance, it was because you had been doing all these other types of swings. You had gotten into tremendous, you know, tension, stress, strain, aches, and pains, right? As Dr. Armstrong always said, God gave us tension, stress, and strain because it's the prelude to pain. You shouldn't even get to the pain. You should have stopped before then. But when we think that it's all right, and it's just accept the fact that maybe this is what I got to have to play golf like this, that's just one of the issues I got to live with. No, you don't. You don't need to live with those issues, because not only do you have the issue of your body working the way it's not designed to move, the body's not designed to make big turns, especially with speed into the forward upswing to the finish and torquing up that back and you're finishing way over there. All right? There's no sport in the world that if you throw or hit anything, you don't throw at and swing at and finish at the target, except golf. Golf's the only one that you want to hit to there to the camera, but you finish with your chest over there. Baseball, throwing, hockey, hitting, tennis players hitting. Golf's the only one that hits there, wants to hit there, and finishes over there. Did God give golfers a dispensation to play by their own set of rules? I don't think so. So I guess the last warning I can give here is that John picked it up. There's a lot of times out there now that other teachers have seen the success of PPGS and they start, so to speak, copying some of our words and our terms and throw it into their instruction when in fact it's not what it is. But they sound good, they kind of water it down a little bit to make it sound like that's what they're doing, but in the end, if you're not vertical up, you know, up vertical, finish vertical and finish square to the target, you're not PPGS. So be sure that you don't see wolves in sheep's clothing on some of these dailies, these free dailies that are out there, because everybody's copied this model. We were about the first to do it 6 or 7, 8 years ago, okay? So don't be fooled. Look at it all the way and look at for the main things of what the peak performance golf swing. Backswing is straight up in the air, equilateral triangle here, and when I swing down and finish up, I come to an equilateral triangle here, recoil and relax, and I'm square to the target. Minimal turn, wide knees out with pressure, we stay very stable. Keep looking for all the key ingredients, the key fundamentals of the peak performance golf swing, and don't let some of these wolves in sheep's clothing fake you out because they're using a lot of terms very similar to PPGS. Well, that's today's tip. That's it for me for today, and I'll be speaking with you all again soon.